Good evening, folks, and welcome to the weekend wrap-up, the ultimate football soccer show, broadcasting live every Monday night. I'm your host, cartwheelchamp, broadcasting from the cozy confines of the local motel as I wait for my apartment's new flooring to be installed since the California floods. This is a very special episode as we reach a landmark of 50 episodes. I want to take a moment to thank all the viewers for their unwavering support. It's been an incredible journey, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. But joining us today are three of the best in the business, folks. First off, we've got Mr. Milo the First. Milo, welcome to the stream. How are you doing, Milo?
I'm good. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? You'll hear some babies crying in the background. That's all part of the show.
All good, all good. Milo, guys, Milo is being introduced first for the most number of caps on the show, which is
Other
50.
than you.
No, I think we're equal. We're equal.
Yeah.
It's basically, Milo is technically the co-host of the show. Thank you, Milo. Really.
Iron Man streak. Yeah, no,
Iron
it's
Man
all
streak.
good, man. It's been a blast. I can't believe we're at 50 already. I was talking to my wife about it just now.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been fun. Also joining us today, we have Mr. Hofsper, one of the first people I met on Twitch, in fact. How you doing, Hoff?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. And last but not least, we have our heavy hitter, the man from the poor, that's Singapore. We have Mr. Cultured Left Foot. Cultured, how you doing?
I'm good. That heavy hitter. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I feel like you're the. No. I feel like you're like the cleanup hitter. You know, you just bring it home type of thing. You know.
Awesome.
Ooh.
I'll take it.
Okay.
It's a maybe it's a baseball term. Anyhow, these are experts will bring their insights and opinion on the latest football news, including the closing of the transfer window today, the not so thrilling match between Arsenal and Manchester City, Manchester United's victory over Reading in the FA Cup with Andy Carroll's deserved red card, and Brighton's incredible win over Liverpool with a beautiful Mitoma late winner in the dying minutes. Elsewhere on the continent, Barcelona continued to lead the league with their victory over Girona, while Madrid stalls with a draw against third-place Sociedad, extending Barcelona's grip on the title. And Napoli defeats Roma to extend their lead atop the Serie A, up to 13, I believe. And also Bayern Munich draws against Frankfurt in a surprisingly tight Bundesliga we have. We'll get all to that later today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow all of our guests on their social media to stay up to date on all things football. All of their links are below in the comments on YouTube, or in the info box on YouTube. And in Twitch, they'll be floating through chat as well. And for those who love playing Football Manager, we've got a treat for you. In the second half of the show, we will be playing a little bit of our network save while talking a bit of football, etc. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up, episode 50. Let's get it started! Then we need some intro something. We need something for the intro here. Exactly.
In the edit,
Exactly.
you can chuck some music in there.
We'll get in something there. There we go. We'll try.
Yeah.
How about that? A little bit of that in the background or something. Anyways, guys, how you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, good.
Doing good?
Very good. Yeah, very good.
Nice.
Good
What's
script,
today?
Good intro. Good monologue.
Decent monologue, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
I want to open the show by saying Hector Bellerin can do one because he turned me down.
what did you do?
Hector Bellerin turned me down at Brighton. How dare he?
The
Oh
nerve.
my god.
The absolute cheat. He's lucky that someone wants to give him another shot in the Premier League. My goodness me.
I couldn't believe he's still 27.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah. Well, we can talk about Hector Bellerin. Hector Bellerin linked with a move to Sporting, dependent on the move of Pedro Porro to Tottenham. It's all hinging on the Porro. It seemed finalized half a couple days ago, and now something in the contract has changed, and it's stalling. Now we're stalling. I guess.
Sporting wanted Spurs to pay, I think it was like $3 million additionally to somehow how the deal was structured. There was an extra like $3 million like administrative fee. It wasn't like a part of the transfer fee, but it's weird because we've done business with Sporting before. Like, you don't ask Daniel Levy to pay more after something's been agreed. Like, he won't do it.
They were like, oh, you've got that Juventus Patrici guy. He loves just cooking some books. Just chuck us some extra money and we won't report anything. Yeah.
Is that what it was? They just wanted a little extra money.
Yeah. It was to like cover like administrative costs of doing the deal and things like that.
Okay.
After everything had been agreed, like they scheduled his medical for today, but they canceled it because they were working that out. But apparently it's scheduled for tomorrow now. So
yeah,
it looks like it'll probably go through.
Have Sporting had their cup final yet, or whatever it was?
On the weekend. Yeah. They played Porto.
Yeah. So Porto did not train with Sporting. Brian Gill is on a possible move to Sevilla. I believe he's landed in Sevilla.
Yep.
He said he posted something on social media, some like passive aggressive, this is my life. I choose what I want or something,
Mm-hmm.
And like
that's him going back, isn't it? Because wasn't it a Lamella Gill swap deal? And then
I think it
Gill's
was
now gone back on loan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian Gill's going back
because we first loaned him back to Valencia. And then he did pretty well. And then he played. I thought he looked good when he's come on and played for us this season so far. Obviously he's still very raw, but I mean, I don't feel like playing in Spain is going to help him grow and learn the game in England. Sure, it's more comfortable for him now, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to be at Spurs for a lot longer, honestly. No. I wish he would be, because I think he could be really good, but I don't think he will be.
Yeah, continuing on with Spurs, there apparently Jed Spence is going out on loan to Rennes as well. He hasn't really played much for you guys. He signed from Nottingham, I believe, right? Yep. And he barely even plays for you guys.
Oh, he signed from Middlesbrough. He was on loan.
Oh, Middlesbrough, sorry. Yep. Other red team. Yeah.
Yep. But he turned down some pretty big, not big clubs, but I guess more prestigious clubs, because he wanted to like ensure that he played as many games as possible. And that's where Joe Rodon is on loan from us as well.
Okay. Also, I have Spurs completed the academy deal for Chelsea teenager Jude Soonsup-Bell from Chelsea.
I don't know a thing about him.
I don't know. Awesome. Maybe he's the next Harry Kane. And,
I wish I had a sign that just said who. I could hold up right now.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Anyways, I was looking at, we got to show, what's going on with Spurs. Pedro Porro. I mean, I wonder if Pedro Porro could be on Man City's radar. Who knows? I don't know.
I think they're getting a cut of the deal.
Right.
I forget what the percentage is, but I think they're getting some of it back.
All I know is if one of your scouts has identified him, there's a good chance Chelsea are in the mix.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if there's a BBC article about him in the transfer gossip, then Chelsea are interested. Yeah.
Well, let's hop over to Chelsea. We're just going to talk all transfers. So apparently today, Enzo has been confirmed. £106 million release clause or something like that.
£106 million fee, and then rising to 120, I think it is, with all the add-ons.
I had read that they agreed to pay more than his release so they could spread it out in installments.
Obviously, it's Chelsea.
I think it's 6 installments. Yeah.
It's not done yet, right?
Manager move.
Not done yet. No.
Not
done yet.
Not done. Not here we go done.
No, not yet.
Not by the tapping merchant that is Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
You should get a contract with a Football Manager. I feel like
should he?
He'd be perfect in there, Very programmable, Here we go. Insert here we go. I wonder if he has that trademark.
Probably,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. No, 'cause somebody
yeah.
else says it on Twitter as well now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who's the guy that he often goes back and forth with? There's another one that's
What,
kind of...
Ornstein?
Yeah, Ornstein. Ornstein says
David
it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chelsea also signed Malo Gusto from Lyon. Apparently means bad. Gusto is like, gusto. I don't know what gusto means, but
Like a
Malo
gust
is
of wind?
bad, right? Gust of wind, like, I don't know what that means.
So a bad fart.
Yeah,
Let's go with that.
basically. Also, Wesley Fofana is returning from. That's different. Returning to training. Bad taste. It means bad taste. Okay. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you. And they also are still looking at Moises Caicedo of Brighton, whom
Aren't we all?
whom. By the way, let's just talk about Chelsea's transfers. By the way, they've signed like over 12 players since Bowley's takeover. That's starting with Raheem Sterling. What do you guys think? Is this like get into Europa League type of season now, or even screw Europa League if they can't get into Europa League? What do you guys think about this?
I think they have to go for that at a minimum.
Yeah.
I think it could be a very much we don't care about this season anymore. I think Europa probably still has to be the minimum, but I think they're looking at it in terms of let's get all the players that we want to try and get, all these youngsters that we don't need to register because they're all under 21, so they don't go against Premier League registration rules. Give them 6 months to settle in, and then next season we're going to be banging. That's what I think Chelsea's plan is now, because I can't see them spending big in the summer if they're doing it now. Like, okay, they spent big last summer as well, but I think that's what their plan is. I still think they'll be aiming for the Europa League, but I think it will be a case of they want the settling in period to be now. Give Graham Potter 6 months with all of these new players, move as many people on as they can in the summer. They're not going to renew contracts of all their older players. Jorginho's been linked away. Kante's been linked away. Thiago Silva's coming to the end of his contract. I think they're going with the aim of that settling in period will be the rest of this season. And then next season they'll attack it. And they should, in theory, do pretty well next season with that squad. But
yeah.
So
yeah.
It's an interesting one. I like Stefan there says they want that third Champions League. I mean, they've got Dortmund. I think that's a winnable tie for them, but you just don't know what you're going to get with Chelsea this season at all.
That's true.
Like no clear number 9.
They're capable of a good performance, but it's yet to, they've chucked all these ingredients in and they've yet to see anything come out the oven. That's how I'm going to say it.
It was hilarious, isn't it? Because you think when Graham Potter was appointed, they won 5 of his first 5. I think he won his first 5 games in charge, and then didn't win one for 4 and got a couple of draws, and then won a couple, and then didn't win, and then won a couple, and then and in those first 5 games, he rotated his starting 11, nearly 10 different players, and then Mendy got injured and Kepa came in to make it 11, and it was like really odd. And now it's sort of settled down, and they're not having a structured system and structured style of play. But they've had really bad injuries as well. But yeah, I think they're just sort of writing off this season, and then they have to challenge next year. And if they don't start well, Potter's gone next year, I think, next season.
Speaking of the Chelsea target, Moises Caicedo, Arsenal, big blinks in with Moises Caicedo. Milo, do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, so rumor has it we submitted 2 bids so far. Both have been turned down, and their second response was he's not for sale at any price. He's been doing the Mudrick, as it's now known, twerking for us in the media. And so
I have his statement on part of his statement on Instagram.
Yeah. Feel free to read it if you want.
I'm proud to be able to bring a record transfer fee for Brighton, which would allow them to reinvest it and help the club to continue to be successful. And then he went on about talking about how he came from poor beginnings, and et cetera. And he's going to change his life.
Supposedly, he financially supports family back home. So it would mean a lot to him, obviously, financially, first and foremost. Secondly, he'd be joining a team that's in a very good position right now that does need depth, even if it's not for the starting position. He'd have a chance to win it. I think he's a very good young player. But we know Partey's age. We know Xhaka's age. There's going to be room for, that main focal point in the middle of the midfield very, very shortly. So it'd be a really good move for him. It would fit the kind of profile players that we've been bringing in. But I think we're going to have to not smash it, but we're going to have to beat our transfer record. So if we go 80 plus, it'll be our most expensive purchase ever. But I mean, right now I'm looking at it like this. We'll get into the City game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Partey has an injury, which again we'll talk about more during that sort of in-game portion. It's not as serious as maybe they first thought, is what we're hearing today, which is great. But for me, I'm thinking like for 20 mil for that security, or if you lose Partey or Xhaka or both or whatever, like how much does that cost you if you don't get it over the line? If we're talking about league titles and that sort of thing.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Is if you're talking about league titles, then you got to go for it. If you're not, you may not have to push for it. But
yeah,
I think
it's a tough one.
There's something to be said with signing players from Brighton. I think Trossard is slightly different, so I'm not including him in this. But when I say signing players from Brighton, I look at players they've sold. Generally, they seem a little bit like Ajax. That Brighton were playing in such a way that team works as a cog, right? It works as one whole system, like Ajax does. And you saw by taking Donny van der Beek out of Ajax that it didn't. He really has to learn to adapt to play in a different system, even when we eventually got the Ajax manager in. My worry with Caicedo would be he would be too similar to Cucurella, that pulling him out of a system where it all is about the team. And I'm not saying Arsenal or Chelsea are not about the team, but do you know what I mean? Like they're so structured in a way that Brighton played, even between Potter and De Zerbi. I don't think the style of play has actually changed that much. There's been De Zerbi's got them scoring more goals and get them creating a few more chances. But I think there's that issue with Caicedo that there's so much money to pull someone out of a system which is so integral for the whole team to play that way, that I think it would be a bit of a risk. I think if you ask Chelsea now, they'd say Cucurella's taken much longer to settle.
Yeah.
And get the performances like he did at Brighton that made him look so good. And that's just, that would be one concern I'd have around.
The only thing I would say in, the other side of that is Arteta has Arsenal playing a much stricter system than we've played in decades. You know what I mean? Like it's far more strict than it ever was under Wenger. Yep. And it's improved the team defensively in almost every regard. So,
but that's what I mean. If Arteta's structure is so strict and all the players currently there know how to play it, is it even harder for someone else to fit in then, isn't it?
But you're gonna have to. But you got to bring someone in at some point.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. So
we need that depth. El Neni isn't it? I think we can all agree. El Neni isn't it.
I believe he's injured right now as well, right?
Yeah, I don't think seriously, but I'm not even saying Caicedo is the guy, but he's definitely one for the future. And for me, it would. He can play in the Prem. We've seen it, right? So, what do you think, Hoff?
Yeah.
I think he's really good. I wouldn't be sad. I guess I wouldn't be upset because you have to pay a lot to get him. But I think kind of to, I guess, echo what Culture was saying, if you get a player like that in the summer, you've got the whole of preseason to like work them in. It'll be hard to go from one rigid system to another rigid system in January. I mean, he might make an impact in March, or I guess probably maybe April, May, like when you need him the most, potentially.
Europa League games as well, I'm thinking. At least one anyway.
I also read, and just I guess that if you didn't sign him, that Jorginho was an option.
Yeah, Jorginho is the backup option, apparently.
I thought that was interesting, to say the least, because they're kind of similar, but not really at all.
I think Jorginho would be a great move.
Maybe. Most Chelsea fans are desperate to get rid of him, and that's a concern.
Jorginho, for me, at Arsenal would be those Europa League games, when you're playing against a lesser team in the Premier League, let's say, where you're going to have so much of the ball. He's so comfortable on the ball and he can ping those passes. But when you're playing Arteta's more free flowing isn't the right word, but free flowing in a more aggressive football, let's say, on the attack, like we've seen Arsenal do. That's where I think Jorginho struggles, and Caicedo would be much better because he's got the energy to play that sort of game.
Mhm.
But I could see Jorginho working out for a season or 2 seasons at Arsenal, but it's the sort of, I'll put an analogy that my mate used about Everton's going for we'll get onto Everton, I'm sure, with the appointment of Sean Dyche, but when Everton had nailed it to 2 candidates, and it was Sean Dyche and Marco Bielsa, who are 2 completely different managers, which you're sort of thinking you have done no research into what actual sort of manager you want. That's how I sort of feel between Caicedo and Jorginho. I'm like, if there's got to be better backup options to Caicedo who play similar to Caicedo. But yeah, so it's a bit odd, but I could see both working. So
yeah, the other one is Declan Rice, more likely in the summer. You guys are linked to Declan. West Ham only 1 point outside the relegation zone. Probably not likely now for that reason.
I think we only spend that kind of money on one of them, personally.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't see us spending that money twice.
If you bought in Caicedo for 70 million, let's say, and he doesn't get straight into the team this year because obviously Xhaka and Partey are playing really well in there. Let's say they stay injury free as well. He doesn't get into the team this season as a starting player, but for that price, is he then going? Which one's being dropped next year? Because I don't think you keep a 70 million pound player on the bench for 6 months and then a whole nother season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we got to wait. I mean, I don't know. I mean, both of them are going to be 30 plus, right? Like, I don't know what you do. I honestly don't know what you do. All I know is that strength in depth is, I've been banging that drum all year long, and we need it if you want to be successful. And if we're going to go, let's assume, I'll say we should be getting top 4 from where we are. That should be a cert. So, it would have to be, quite the collapse if we don't. So, Champions League games next year, plus the Premier League, plus the cups. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get into it again as far as the FA Cup goes. But I think there's definitely an element that we're not just building for this season. I think we have one eye on next season and the season after. Well.
Yeah. So with Trossard coming in, you have cover on a lot of the positions up front, and Nketiah has proven he can do the backup there. In the back line, you've got Tomiyasu, who can play, I think, left back and right back, and you've got Rob Holding, decent cover.
Ben White,
Ben White as well. And in midfield, you don't have any cover for Partey and Xhaka, in my opinion.
Apart from El Neni and then Emil Smith Rowe can play in where Xhaka's playing right now. In my opinion,
I don't know. If you're seriously thinking about a league title push, I think you need at least one more than El Neni. And Sambi, after the game against City, there was some weird stuff going on with him. On the goal, I saw a video of him just like completely lost. I don't know if you saw that video when he was marking. So
on the ball, he's a real Arsene Wenger player.
Exactly.
On the ball, he is really, really good. And he's capable of some great passes as well. But defensively, he's just not there. He's just not there. So maybe it's something he can improve on. He is very young as well.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll keep him and work with him. I could see him going on loan. I could also see them saying, you know what, we've tried it. It's not happening, and trying to ship him out. But there's a player in there. It's just maybe he belongs further up the pitch as well, like where Xhaka is playing. Maybe he should be cover for Xhaka, not for Partey.
Yeah, I'd get
less defensive responsibility, but then that only leaves El Neni, and then we're back to the original conversation. So yeah, I agree with you. We need one.
I think one midfielder you need. Marquinhos, the winger you signed in the summer, is going to Norwich on loan for the remainder of the season.
That does remind me though. Kiwior, I don't know how we say his name. I'm going to say Kiwior. Kiwior can play defensive mid.
Right.
Is what I was reading this week. So there is potentially cover there. He's a centre-back / defensive mid. So we don't know what, maybe he'll turn out to be a beast. You know what I mean? We just don't know.
You guys are also linked with Ivan Fresneda from Valladolid, 18-year-old right back, also wanted by Dortmund. You never know. And I hear if Suarez might be on the way out, and this guy might be on the way in. Who knows? Who knows what else is happening? Other clubs. I'm just going to go down the list here. After Arsenal, we have Aston Villa. They've signed Colombian John Duran from I believe Chicago Fire. Is it or where?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fire from MLS. Alex Moreno, the right back from where is he from? Villarreal or somewhere?
Betis.
Betis. That's
Yeah.
right. And they sold Danny Ings. Brighton, obviously, they sold Trossard, and they're, rumored to be losing Caicedo as well. We'll get to that FA Cup match in just a moment. Big news with Everton, not just on the players front. We had Sean Dyche coming into Everton. I love Sean Dyche. I don't know about you guys. I love that
thank
guy.
you. No,
I
thank you.
love that guy. The most perfect 4-4-2 manager of all time, maybe.
I think
he still rocks the 4-4-2.
I love him in there because he is the anti-Pep sort of thing, isn't he? He's that anti-ball, and I think you need that in the. If everyone played the same way, it'd be boring, right? So you need an in there. I think he will be great at Everton, but I think that will be his level. Like he should never get a job above a relegation battling team. But
Dyche boys back.
He says there's quality in the squad, but we have to make them shine. That's the job of me and my staff. He signed a 2.5-year deal with Everton. Today he was in training, pictured wearing short shorts while the rest of the coaching staff were all bundled up in warm clothing. Classic Sean Dyche.
I'm not sure if there's a manager, like a current manager, that I dislike more.
Oh no!
Oh, really?
Yeah. His voice, his face.
Hello.
My!
Hello.
Just everything about him. The way he sets his teams up. The fact that we're playing his Dyche ball team first. Just all of it, because you just know he's going to be out. Like if anybody can end Bukayo Saka's career early, it will be a Sean Dyche led team.
True. That might be true. That might be true.
That's all I'm saying. It
I love me some Sean Dyche though.
Pirate football.
He's the true ginger heir to David Moyes. I think
I think he's more like the true heir to Fat Sam, but whatever.
I think Tony Pulis retired and Sean Dyche went. There's a niche I can step into there.
He's a Pulis regen.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, he is.
Also, Everton. I think before they announced Sean Dyche, they put up. They were quote unquote put up for sale by Farhad Moshiri, the owner, for about 500 million, which is how much Chelsea have spent in the past year, which is pretty wild.
He's come out and said that's not true, hasn't he?
He can't. Yeah, I think he canceled that out. And he said I wasn't able to read the letter, but he read a statement about stability, and maybe next week or in a couple of weeks we can talk about that statement a little more, because it brings up the question of when is the right time to kind of sack a manager, this and that, because he's talking about stability and all this stuff at the club, but I don't know.
Talking of Everton as well, they've had a 40 million bid rejected for Conor Gallagher.
Gallagher apparently has rejected it.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know who rejected it.
Okay.
Yeah, he seems like I was chatting in Discord about it. He feels maybe not technical enough for the project that Chelsea's trying to put together or something. And maybe he's more of a workhorse type of player that might thrive in more of like maybe a Everton type team or something. Like at Crystal Palace, he was one of he's shown the most there. Also linked with Everton is Thorgan Hazard, but apparently the player wants PSV. Borussia Dortmund, man.
Just remember how much you like him when they're playing United and Garnacho's getting ripped apart at the ankles.
Definitely. Moving on to Leeds. Big news for Leeds. We have Weston McKennie, the 24-year-old American starlet, moving from Juventus to Leeds United. Now we have Tyler Adams, Brendan Aronson, and Weston McKennie midfield at Leeds with Jesse March on the sideline. Pretty exciting stuff.
Is it exciting in terms of the football, or is it exciting because they're American?
Definitely because they're American.
Yeah,
Definitely because they're American. But also they played well together in the World Cup. You know, they played really well together. So, I don't know if you have any comments on that from an American standpoint.
I was just gonna throw in Jack Harrison in that bunch. I know he's not American, but it's a good endorsement.
He can play
of
for
MLS.
He could play for USA, by the way. He is eligible.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I learned that in Football Manager the other day.
Sign him up.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, when Jesse Marsch went to Salzburg, I started following him. He had an incredible young talent there. He had I can't even think of his name. The guy went to Liverpool, the Japanese player.
Minamino.
Yeah, he had Minamino, Holland, Mwepu was there. I mean, he had a lot of young talent, and I like the way he sets up his teams and just his tactics overall. Even if he's not an American, I like that about him. The fact that he is an American makes me want him to replace Berhalter for us. Maybe not like tomorrow, but sometime before the next World Cup.
How cool would that be if just like, you know how like at one time Barcelona had like the entire Spanish team. Like, what if a club just were like, all right, all the Americans come to Leeds, you know, all of them.
Then
That'd
you
be
can
kinda
let Jesse Marsch do the international man job at the same time because it's just the same squad.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you could do what kind of Wolves are doing. They have like a Portugal kit, you know how Wolves have like a Portugal kit. We could have like a red, white, and blue kit at Leeds, 4th kit or something, you know.
They would never let you add red to their kit.
No, they wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. Speaking of Leeds, United play them in a couple weeks back to back in the league. Actually, moving on to United.
Who will you be cheering for?
I'll be cheering for United. Yeah, that's a good question because you know it's like a nationalism versus club love. In that case, I'm hoping Leeds stay up. I'm hoping they get Premier League football, so you know these guys get that experience. But stay out of Europe, stay out of the top half, stay in the bottom half, fight for relegation. Yeah, just stay down there.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know. Couple things about United. We have obviously we had Weghorst come in on loan, and Jack Butland, the goalkeeper, on loan as well. We've signed a 16-year-old Wales youth international from Cardiff City, Gabriel Biancheri, a top prospect apparently. Rumors of Inter Milan asking for Harry Maguire on loan, as well as Victor Lindelof, rumored to go on loan there. Lindelof also linked with Atleti. Apparently, 10 proposals for Anthony Ilanga. PSV and Dortmund pushing hard for his loan as well. I don't know. I think Weghorst is all the dealings we're going to be doing cultured. I mean, I can't see anyone coming in. Eriksson injury makes some things a little tricky. Maybe, I don't know.
I think we might see a potential midfielder come in on loan, but again, it'll be someone who you know is a backup that will just do a job when they need to come on for the last couple of minutes. Because I don't think we would have, but with Van der Beek and Eriksson both getting injured, I think we will. I think we'll bring on some sort of maybe bring in a low midfielder that maybe very experienced and can do a job. But I wouldn't be surprised to not see anyone else. I think we flat out rejected the Harry Maguire thing, didn't we, United? I think they came out and said straight away he's not going anywhere at the moment, which makes sense. I mean, Varane and Martinez and then Lindelof and Maguire is 4 centre-backs. So, it's an interesting one. I still think we'll sell Maguire in the summer. I think he'll go somewhere. And my Spurs supporting friends said they would take him. So, they said he'd fit a Conte system. If Conte signs a new contract, they'd take Harry Maguire. So,
replace one Harry with another.
Yeah, swap.
Oh man, I tried playing it. Yeah, Harry Kane at United would be great. It'd be perfect, just perfect.
It would. But
it's all about the now. Football is about now, not 4 years in the future.
But I like the Weghorst deal. I like that. I think he's proving already that his link-up play will really help us in certain situations. I think him rotating with Martial will be really good. it's just generally looking pretty positive, isn't it, for United? I think we've
Yeah.
discussed this before, even though it's top 4 was the sort of aim, and it looks like we're going to be in a good position to potentially get that. We're doing well in the cup, so yeah, let him keep having control, get the club sold and a bit more interest and stuff like that, and we'll see how it goes. But I think transfer-wise, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see much else. I think we'll see Alanga leave, and that's about it. Because Palestri's come on and I would say looked better than Alanga in his cameo appearances. So
Unbelievable this count.
yeah,
Unbelievable
that comment.
Oh
As if
my
you put that
God.
on the screen. Who did that? Get that off.
Moving on to United's neighbors, Manchester City. Crazy news. Not. It's pretty shocking, but when you learn it, I think when you learn about it, it makes a little more sense. Cancelo going on loan to Bayern Munich, 21 years of age. Apparently, there's an option to buy for 70 million. That's what early reports were saying. A couple of his, he was PFA Premier League Team of the Year for the past 2 seasons. He was dropped by the Portugal national team during the World Cup. He hasn't played in City's last 3 matches: Tottenham, Wolves, and Arsenal. Pep's comments after the Arsenal match: everyone's happy regarding, or he said, at some point he said everyone's happy in a very sarcastic way regarding Ake starting. Youngster Rico Lewis is ready to go. Could probably play there. They've also got Ake, Stones, and Walker who can fill in on the wingback positions. Weird one. Joao Cancelo leaving Manchester City. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this one?
I was surprised, but then Extreme, who's our sort of resident City supporter, like he said that it's a conflict between him and Pep, maybe.
Yeah.
Rumors that he was unhappy to be left out of the side to play Arsenal in the cup, stuff like that, and asked for a transfer. I mean, if that's the case, it happened very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. It's a weird one. Rumors of Anthony Robinson, American, being linked to a move there. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not crazy about that.
I left Greg. I left Greg out there. Sorry, Greg. You and Extreme, both big City fanboys.
Ben Chilwell being linked as well as a replacement. So it just seems odd. It just seems odd because he played so well last season and he's a Pep sort of player. And yeah, it's an interesting one. 70 million, those profit, I think, isn't it? They didn't pay that much for him. It was a player exchange for Danilo, with Danilo going the other way to Juventus.
Mm-hmm.
Was that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Other reports also say that City's just going to roll with what they have, which is kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure what City's doing. I think I think they might be.
Right? I think they're going on the verge that
true.
Mendy's coming back. I think that's what they're planning on because he's not guilty and he's got 2 appeals. If he gets through them, he'll be back in a couple of months or a month. So
yeah.
Who knows?
Moving on, Newcastle. Anthony Gordon has moved to Newcastle from Everton. He wrote a very heartfelt letter on Instagram. Anthony Gordon, Newcastle. Is this the kind? I mean, I remember we talked about it when the Saudis took over Newcastle last summer, or whenever it was they took over, and we were talking about how they're going to kind of take little pieces. Right? They took Chris Wood from Burnley. They took I don't know what the how City took pieces from other clubs, Sterling, etc. Anthony Gordon taking a promising youngster from Everton, kind of has that same feel. What do you think of the move? Off.
I don't know. It's a good move. I think it's a better move for Everton than it is for Newcastle because they could use the money. I mean, who knows if they'll use it wisely. They haven't spent money wisely in years as far as I'm concerned, but I don't know. I've never been really convinced by Gordon. I know we were linked to him in the summer and I don't like him. I don't particularly care for how he plays. That's what it boils down to for me. But it does kind of have that appearance of like, oh yeah, we're gonna weaken your team a little bit. Yeah, for 40 million, yeah, why not? We might not be playing you at all next year, maybe in the FA Cup. So yeah, it's an interesting tactic. And I don't know. I feel like it's the first move that Newcastle has made under this new ownership that doesn't really make sense to me. All their other moves have worked out really well. And I guess we'll see how well he ends up playing for them. But I feel like all their moves up until this one have been very helpful to, I mean, they're in the top 4 now, so they've got them to where they are. Yeah.
I think it's the next step on that cycle, right? They bought in Chris Wood, who was enough to save them from relegation at the time, score a few goals, move him on, get the next level to get into the Europa League. And you know, they're on course for the easy Europa League, Champions League, Europa League qualification, I think they'll probably get now. But I think it's just that next step. And then with Gordon, he's English. If he does really well and they don't want him, you sell him for profit, if not the same price. If he does really well and he's English, then it sells loads of shirts. It's true. I think it's one of those that it's a win-win for Newcastle. I think Everton will be kicking themselves because they turned down 60 million from Chelsea in the summer for Anthony Gordon, I think.
Oh, that's right. They did go for Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, and then sold him for 40 or whatever it is they've just sold to Newcastle. I think it's the next step for Newcastle. Will he be there in 3 years' time when they're challenging for the title in Champions League? Probably not. But it's the next step to help them get into the next stage of where they want to be. So it makes sense for all parties, I think. And it's just up to Everton to reinvest it correctly. So
we'll see.
We'll
Nottingham Forest rumored with Keylor Navas and Jonjo Shelvey. Actually, I read some rumors of Jonjo Shelvey moving to Nottingham. They did sign 21-year-old Danilo, midfielder from Palmeiras. Also, he was heavily linked with Arsenal, I believe. That is their 24th signing since winning promotion in May, which is pretty crazy. But Nottingham Forest, chugging away. Don't know exactly what their plan is, but we'll see.
Survival. Trying to survive. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, survival and
that'll be it.
Sell for profit, I'd imagine, would be one of their club cultures if you on Football Manager's terms to say bring in players to sell for profit. So I imagine that's what they're trying to do. But he looked the Danilo and who's the other central midfielder they've brought in? They both look half decent in the games I've seen them play. Nottingham Forest
in January or before?
No, it might have been before. It begins with an S, I think. I'll have to have a look. But
Gustavo Scarpa.
That's it, Scarpa. Yeah. I think they've both looked pretty decent for them. They just need to settle quickly. That's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alrighty. I'm trying to figure out something on the...
Chris Wood moved to Forest, didn't he, as well? As a battering
he
striker.
did.
Yeah, on loan. Which is probably what they need, a bit more like that. So.
Okay, got it. The last team I have listed here is Wolves. They signed João Gomes, 21-year-old midfielder from Flamengo. That's Lopetegui's 6th signing this January, including Cunha from Atleti with a loan with option to buy, which I think they are going to trigger the buy on him. Mario Lemina from Nice, Pablo Sarabia, PSG, Craig Dawson from West Ham, and Daniel Bentley from Bristol as well. So Lopetegui getting in his signings there. Hold on, here we go. All right, those are the Premier League transfers. Did I miss any Premier League transfers as well?
Red Rose is talking about Sander Berge to Fulham.
That's right. Yes, I did read that as well. Fulham is in for him, and also somebody else is in for him as well. But yeah, Sander Berge from Sheffield.
It's not a done deal, though, right?
No, it's not a done deal yet. I like Sander Berge. I think he should be in the Premier League, and that is the exact transfer I did in my FIFA career mode when I started it. I bought in Sander Berge for Fulham. So all for that. Yeah, all for that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
I realized FIFA was terrible and stopped playing. So, yeah.
I was surprised.
Apparently, Brighton are also interested in bringing him in if they sell Caicedo to Arsenal.
Yeah, see that would be good money.
Start the roundabout, Edu. Let's go.
Edu was on social media. Did you see his post on social media?
I didn't. No, I hate social media.
He was like he was like wearing like cut off shirt, and he was like it was like a Snapchat with the title was 10 to 15 million pound midfielders send me a DM or something. It was just kind of weird. Maybe it was doctored. I don't know.
Probably was doctored. I can't see that he would have done. He's been nothing but a pro since he's been here.
Exactly. He's got to be the happiest director in the world right now. I mean, he's probably feeling the most satisfaction of all directors in the world. Is there any better? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think he's got the most satisfaction. Yeah, the happiest.
He's got to be.
He's getting paid a shit ton to do not very much.
He's also been, he's coming at the right time as well. Not to say he's made bad moves, but I think the club have made some pretty astute moves right across the board, top to bottom.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. FA Cup action this weekend. Let's quickly kind of move through this. We had a big match last Friday. And I don't know if it was Hoff you were talking about, but you were talking about how they need to bring back Friday Night Football or something.
Yeah, every time I talk about the Bundesliga.
Oh my god, it's so good. It was so good having a game. It felt like 4 days of games of decent games. Like today was Derby, West Ham, and a couple other leagues were playing. But Friday Night Football is great, and I think it'd be great for Premier League teams if they started doing that. But we had Arsenal, Manchester City, the first meeting this season, and personally, it was pretty boring game to me. Milo, you're resident Arsenal fan. What are your feelings on that game?
Yeah, let's do it. Boring for you, I totally get. Now, for me, I will take that against City. I will take a boring game. I think both teams were cautious about it. There were some lineup changes, obviously, from the regular 11 for both. More so on our side. 6, I believe, changed players coming into our team. And I thought we played better than we played against City for the last few years. That's without question. That would have been, 3-1, 3-0, 2-0, 4-1, 5-0. You know what I mean? So to go into it and play the way we did, I thought was really good. I didn't see anything there that should be a massive concern going into the league games, and I expect the league games to be quite tight as well. They might not be a spectacle for the eye that people want them to be, because they're going to be big, important games for both teams. And I think Pep really respects. I think he's very public about how much he respects Arteta, and I think that you'll see his team, reflect that when we play each other a bit more now. So anyway, I thought we played quite well overall. Tomiyasu had a great chance on the half volley. Just put it in a corner. It was a good save, but it was kind of straight at the keeper. I thought Trossard was very, very good in his start. He was definitely sort of our biggest threat, especially in the first half. I thought we kept Haaland quiet for the most part, which is not an easy task, right? And that was with Rob Holding and Gabriel at centre back. So we'll see. We'll see again. I still expect Saliba to be the guy. I don't know if he was resting Saliba, maybe because he's played in almost every game as well. Maybe that was the thinking. I'm not sure, or maybe he's got a knock. But I thought we kept Haaland quiet for the most part. I mean, KDB's always a bit dangerous. He had a left-footed shot. I don't know if you saw that, but just flashed wide. That was a really nice effort, actually. Grealish was lively, but I'm not surprised that we lost. I think 1-0. It took a scrappy goal. Maybe the keeper should have done a bit better. I think Turner maybe should have. I feel like Ramsdale might have saved that, but that's just my own personal opinion. So I'm disappointed because you guys know how much I love the FA Cup. All right. However, without elaborating too much, I will say that this year I'm less disappointed than I normally would be with an FA Cup exit, and you can make of that what you will.
No, why is that? Go into details.
No, I don't need to.
Tell us.
On the face of it, the game was, I can understand the takeaways from it. The fact that Arsenal did, kind of hold their own, and you do see the strength and depth that City actually do have. They put in quote unquote a second-ish team. Couple players they rotated out, but still very strong. And for Arsenal to kind of, do what they did against that team, with Rob Holding at the back, and Tierney does not look like he fits this Arteta system, right? He doesn't look comfortable on the ball. He's like a Robertson kind of feeling. Maybe I'm just associating Scotsman.
I think part of that though is because you're used to watching Zinchenko now in that role, and Zinchenko just pops up everywhere because that's the nature of his game. Mm-hmm. Whereas Tierney is your old-fashioned left back.
Yeah,
at heart, out of Scotland, brings his football boots in a Tesco shopping bag.
Yeah, but like we were talking about Caicedo filling, slotting in. It's like, if Arteta was picking a left back, I don't think he would pick Tierney.
No,
or maybe he's not utilizing.
I don't think he would either. However, for cup games or like this one, Europa League, I expect Tierney to start, and I also think, late in the game you can bring him on and have that more defensive minded. Just not have him bomb forward. Because if he does start a game, he does still play that sort of wingback role, so he's up and down. But if you bring him on with 20 minutes to go, you can sort of have him be a bit more no nonsense left back, right?
Right. Other matches I have written down here is we talked a little bit about in the intro. United versus Reading. Casemiro coming up big
against Reading.
A beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. Andy Carroll with a crazy game. Was he wearing the number 2? Is that what is that?
Yeah,
his
he's number 2. He's an
idiot.
idiot.
It's just all bad. It just looked all bad.
It was something to do with his daughter, which is why I picked number 2. But no, I think even I remember reading at the time the excuse he gave was very, very lame for wearing number 2. But yeah, terrible footballer now, especially. He had his moments, but back in the day, but now definitely a terrible.
He had that one season.
Okay. He had that one season, and then Liverpool spunked £50 million on him.
Yep.
But yeah, good game, wasn't it?
I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, a game we should have won, and we won pretty comfortably. So
it was 0-0, 50th minute, and then we finally got the breakthrough. Rashford, his goal was called offside by VAR. Would have been his, I believe, 10th straight goal at Old Trafford, I believe, something like that. But he's 10 goals, 2 assists, and 11 matches since the World Cup. He's doing really well. Tottenham, Heung-min Son with 2. Were they both left-footed goals? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, some nice goals from Son ahead of the match against City later this week. Pretty good game for you. No Kane. How do you think you looked?
That's my favorite part about it. He didn't play and we won, so because I just feel like he's getting run into the ground, which he hasn't shown that he is. That's just something I'm projecting, I guess. But I'm glad. I guess Son has done it twice before. He scored in 3 games this year. He got a hat trick, and then he scored 1 goal, and then he scored 2. So he has 7 goals in 3 games essentially, and the hat trick came on as a sub. So hopefully that gives him some confidence. Of course, I said that twice before already, so I don't know. But Danjuma scored 2. No, I'm sorry, Danjuma got a goal.
Oh, that's right, Danjuma on his debut, I believe, right?
Yeah, he scored on his debut. It was a nice little finish. I think I don't know all the reasons, but I've got to think he was brought in to push Son. I mean, it's a loan, so there's not a major commitment, and he gives more depth. I think that is the end for Lucas now. I think he already said he's leaving at the end of the season. I don't think we'll see him play for us again, which is not completely surprising, but a little sad still, because he's given us some of our best moments over the past few years. But yeah, overall, and Lloris didn't play, which is also nice. I joked with a buddy earlier that the FA Cup is beneath him. Um, and he quickly replied just like every other shot, but that was out of bounds.
Yeah. Other results from. Oh yeah.
Just news just in from the network FM save that Cartwheel Champ will be fielding an offer from Man City for one of his players.
Oh
Yeah, I've
no,
done that.
Man City. Wait, when do you guys want to share the game?
A large bit of news. You might as well share the big bit of news, Hoff, if you can.
Sorry to interrupt, but it
No,
just
you're
flashed
fine.
up, and I'm like, that would go into Cartwheel.
I can't share my screen. If you, when do you guys want to share? Go ahead.
I'll pull it up just a second. Let me.
Okay, yeah, Hoff, you got it. Yeah, Man City in for Tielemans. What do they want? 25 million,
24 million.
bro. Oh, 28 million with incentives.
That's a good deal, isn't it?
Hold on, I gotta figure out how much is he worth. How much is he worth? How do I see how much is he worth? Let's see here.
I've got him at 22.
Okay, guys, we're gonna slowly transition to the FM portion of the stream.
We still got all kinds to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna keep chatting, but we'll get the games going on the side here. Other FA Cup matches, we have Wrexham drawing with Sheffield United. Pretty exciting game. Wrexham was down, then they went up, and then they were equalizing like the last minute of the game. So they'll be playing a replay this week. Brighton with a pretty amazing goal from Mitoma. I don't know. For me, I love that kind of goal. It felt like kind of like a vintage. Well, it isn't Premier League, but a vintage goal. You know, that type of like kind of timeless highlight we'll have. Mitoma looking
loved
really
it.
good.
Great goal. Yeah.
Is
Is he gonna be the next player that gets bought from Brighton?
Yeah, I was reading some Barcelona fan page, and they were talking about trying to get a Mitoma to Barcelona. Pretty neat. Cool
Everything's so instant nowadays, isn't it? It's like
It really is. Yeah.
2 good months and he's moving to Barcelona. Like, oh,
Have they had a Japanese player before?
I don't think so.
where's Kobu played for them, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
No, he was at Madrid.
Oh, was he in Madrid? I thought didn't he play for both?
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
It's his first name. There he is.
Takefasu, I think.
Yeah, youth career at Barcelona.
I forgot. Yeah.
Youth career Barcelona.
He got transfer marked.
Ah.
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have the draw here for the FA Cup, which will be played. I think the FA Cup 5th round. We have Southampton versus Luton or Grimsby. We have Leicester versus Blackburn or Birmingham. We have Stoke City versus Brighton. Wrexham or Sheffield versus Tottenham. So we might see a Wrexham-Tottenham match. I feel like what's his name has to be there for that.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, him, but also the guy Ted Lasso's got to be there. He's got to make an appearance for that one. Fulham or Sunderland will play Leeds. That'll be a good match. Bristol versus Manchester City. Manchester City getting a nice draw there. United getting West Ham, who won today. I feel like that's going to be a tricky game for us.
Yeah, I think it'll be tricky.
It always feels tricky at West Ham. Moyes, And then either Ipswich Town or Burnley will play against Sheffield Wednesday or Fleetwood Town, which it's nice. It's nice the FA Cup the way they got these.
Well, the Southampton one will be interesting because if Luton beat Grimsby or whoever they're playing, it's going to be a new Southampton manager against the team he left.
Oh, really?
They got him from Luton, yeah.
Yep.
That would be interesting. Credit in the chat as well to the Red Rose. Hiroki Abe currently plays at Barcelona. So.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Oh, great call!
Huh.
All right, guys, we are doing a condensed type of show, so we are kind of move through England pretty quickly. If there's anything you guys want to chat about? One thing I had written down, or please go ahead, think of that or whatever. Wrexham Southampton in the match. I don't know if you guys saw this. The ref showed a red card. It was circular. Did you guys see that? It wasn't like a MasterCard, like a credit card shape. It was a circle. That was pretty
Didn't
neat.
they have those before cultured for a while? You remember
Yeah,
that?
it's up to the referee, I think. As long as it's like the right colors, like FIFA colors.
Really?
Equal cup colors, yeah, the correct colors for the competitions and stuff. You can
Yeah.
have any shape you want. Because I've seen who's the knobhead one? Mike Dean. He used to have triangle ones as well.
Do you know, this conversation just took me back to a family party when I was about, I don't know, I want to say 8 years old. And I made my own yellow and red cards. And I was running around this party just booking and sending off people for nothing.
Love it.
Like it just popped into my mind when you started talking about it. I was so fucking...
For Halloween one time when I was a kid,
Sorry,
I was an NFL referee one time, so I had like the flag, I just throw the flag around. It was like a bunch of pennies and like a yellow piece of cloth. I remember.
That's how much sports ingrained into us as youngsters, right? Milo was doing that 8. You were doing it as a kid and like a Halloween costume. Well, you didn't say you were a kid. I don't think you said you were a kid.
No, I was a kid. I was.
It was last year.
Yeah.
But
There was
Nowadays, Milo, you'd rock up to a party dressed as Gaza with a six-pack and a fishing rod.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and a pair of fake boobs.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That
Ridiculous.
was Italian 90, I think, right?
Yeah, it was.
Speaking of cards, I think it was in Denmark. I think it was in Denmark. I saw it on Instagram. The ref gave a white card to the training staff from 2 of the clubs. A fan had like collapsed or gotten injured somehow. I'm not 100% sure how they got injured, but the trainers from the 2 clubs like went and helped them. It's like a good sportsmanship, signifying like recognizing good sportsmanship. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of cheesy, but interesting.
Wait a second.
Still given in the same way as a red card, like
he like showed. Yeah, he's like
aggressive.
like
he like pulls him out from the medical staff. He's like, "You come here."
Yeah, they were like
come here.
walking back to the bench after they had treated this fan and gave it to him.
Interesting. Couple of comments I have written from the Liverpool match. Fabinho got away with a red card. Speaking of cards, I don't know if you guys saw that tackle.
Yeah.
Klopp has gone on record saying no more incoming transfers, not offers, for Liverpool. Talk of a midfielder not happening. Andy Robertson was captain about that FA Cup loss. He said the season has been nowhere near good enough. At the start of the year, we wanted a fresh start, but that hasn't happened. We've been worse. In the league, we haven't been good enough, and now we're out of both cups. It's a tough time for Liverpool right now. It's just tough. I feel kind of bad for them. Because when you think about it, they were in 4 finals last year, which is insane. And now it's just, they've just completely how quickly we forget, just like boom. Like it's nothing.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Exactly. You have to enjoy it while it lasts.
Yep.
Like, for example, if you're top of the league, you really gotta enjoy it. You really gotta enjoy it. Anyways, let's keep moving around. Let's head to the continent. I'll quickly talk about Madrid and Barcelona. Barcelona, we have rumors of Bellerin. We kind of spoke at the top of the show to Sporting. Last week, I had said that Yannick Carrasco was a swap with Memphis Depay. It was not a swap. Carrasco did not go to Barcelona. He's still at Atletico Madrid. Big news for Barca. Ousmane Dembele's picked up an injury. Apparently, he will be out for 6 weeks, and that would cover the Manchester United, both legs of the Manchester United Europa League tie. This weekend, Ter Stegen with another clean sheet. That's 3 straight matches that Barca have won 1-0. Narrow wins. They extend their lead to 5 points after Madrid drew. Speaking of, this weekend, Pedri scored the goal. Pedri's been playing really well for Barca. He is now one of 3. He is the second youngest player to make 100 appearances for Barcelona. Can you name the youngest player to make 100 appearances for Barcelona? Messi is 3rd. There is one younger than him.
Oh.
There is one younger than him. He did play in England.
Bojan?
Bojan Krkić. Bojan Krkić.
Bojan, yeah.
He's 19 years, 2 months. Pedri is 20 years,
The
2
next
months.
Messi.
The next Messi, Bojan Krkić. And the other note I have here is Gavi is 18. He turns 19 in August, and he already has 75 appearances. So he'll be in that list soon as well.
Yeah.
But Barca like to blood him young. Wait, blood him young. Okay. I'm not okay. Madrid. Rodrigo scored a beautiful goal against Atleti in the Cup on Thursday. Beautiful goal to level the score. They went on to force overtime. Benzema with a goal in extra time after a Stefan Savic red card. Madrid will face Barca in the semifinals. We got a couple clásicos coming up for us. The other semifinal is Osasuna versus Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey. Madrid's end of February is pretty exciting. They have Liverpool in the Champions League, then they have Atletico Madrid in the league, and then Barca in the Cup, the first leg of the Cup. So that'll be an exciting match there. They drew 1-1 with Sociedad on the weekend. That's third place Sociedad, so that kind of put them back in the title charge as well. Camavinga started at left back. Question for the panel. Notable, so usually, like Zinchenko, we see hopping in. Now we're seeing it with Malaysia and Shaw at United. They're hopping into midfield, called a false fullback. But Camavinga dropping into left back feels like a false midfielder or something. It's like have you who's like someone who is an established midfielder who dropped back into like wing positions or center back positions very well. Javier Mascherano does come to mind, but that was at center back. But what about wings? I couldn't really think of any.
I'm not saying it was successful, but Granit Xhaka played twice at left back last year.
That's right. That's true. That's true. He did.
Ooh, Delph's a good shout. Extreme.
And they did
Fabian
that.
Delph. Yeah, there we go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Fabian Delph.
Fabian Delph.
Oh, Alaba, of course.
Yeah,
Alaba.
that's a good one.
But I feel like Alaba began as a defender, right? Didn't he? Or did he start as a midfielder? Like, Alaba hopping into midfield is understandable. But like a midfielder, like Camavinga dropping into wing-back positions, he just...
Quinton Fortune.
Okay.
He did it for United a couple of times.
Yeah, he did.
Midfield,
Yeah.
Essien.
left back.
Essien, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Essien.
Essien.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah, that's probably
Essien
the best
definitely
shout.
did. Owen Hargreaves? Did he drop into...
He could do it.
He wouldn't do it often, though. Yeah, he wouldn't do it
No.
often. Yeah, interesting. But other bit of news I have from Valencia. I think someone had mentioned it earlier. Gattuso has left Valencia by mutual consent.
Well, sometimes might be good.
There you go. There you go. There you go. But that is what I have for
La Liga.
La Liga.
Just one.
Yeah.
Villarreal have agreed to sign Brereton Diaz, right, at the end of his contract from Blackburn.
Yep.
So
Yes.
we're going to see him step up a division and see how he does. Obviously, very good at international level and been pretty good at Blackburn. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how he steps up because I think that could be a shrewd bit of business from Villarreal to for a big sell on there if he does well in La Liga. I think a Premier League team will come calling for Brereton Diaz.
Right. Oh, and interesting from Red Rose here. Speaking of Isco is apparently confirmed with Union Berlin, I believe, for the rest of the season, maybe more. There was talk of him going to Leipzig as a Dani Olmo replacement, but looks like Union has the signature there.
I think Hoff was going to talk about that in his.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Stole my thunder.
You want to? Let's hop into Bundesliga. Bundesliga looks really good.
Bundesliga. I wasn't here last week, but I'm so glad it's back. I love the Bundesliga. Has nothing to do with Conte ball at all. So yeah, it's super tight right now as well. Munich drew Frankfurt over the weekend. So first through, I'll go down to fifth, is separated by 3 points. The Union train is chugging again. They just signed, like you said, they just signed Isco. Geraldo Becker has been linked with Everton. I don't know if there's much behind that, but he's been one of their most important players offensively this year. He's been really good. So he may be gone. I don't know that you're literally challenging Munich for a title right now. Bayern, sorry. So I don't know. I would, unless the fee's right, I would personally hold on to him. Berlin in the Berlin derby, Union beat Hertha 2-0. Decky and Seguin scored. So that was a really fun game to watch. I've been on the train all year. I love watching Union play. Freiburg beat Augsburg, so they're sitting in 5th at 34 points. Hoffenheim got absolutely murdered by Gladbach. Gladbach are such a weird team to me. Sometimes they will play lights out, especially in the Champions League. I think a couple years ago when I think they beat every team in their group, including Real Madrid, or at least drew them. And then other times they'll just not show up at all. And I don't know if you guys talked about it last week. Just a link. Bayern Munich and Gladbach is Jan Sommer going to Munich for peanuts, basically. It's a really good move for Bayern Munich. I've talked about Sommer before. He's one of the best keepers in the world. He will get the respect that he deserves now that he's playing at a bigger club. Not that Gladbach are small by any means, but he's going to be hopefully he keeps his level that he's moved up. There's not a lot of room to move up in Germany, but he did. And hopefully there are a few keepers that could keep Neuer out. I don't know if the fact that he's Swiss will not do that. I don't know if that plays Neuer being German and Sommer being Swiss plays into it at all. It might. I guess that comes down to Nagelsmann. I feel like Nagelsmann will select the best keeper regardless. Dortmund beat Leverkusen 2-0. Adeyemi got his first goal for them. Really nice goal. Leverkusen are another weird one, but they're away from the relegation zone now. It was looking bad at the beginning of the season, but it's looking up now. And on Friday Night Football, this was my match of the week. So Basel scored 2 goals for Leipzig, and they beat Stuttgart 2-1. And Leipzig are sitting 3rd, 2 points behind Bayern Munich. It's the title race is really tight. Munich have stuttered a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if anyone capitalizes on that.
Yeah. Yeah, Bayern hitting a little bump in the road. They played a like a 4-1-4-2-4 with Musiala as one of the midfielders. Kimmich single holding midfielder. It's pretty fun to watch. I watched a bit of the game. Yeah, it was a good game. And let's move over to Serie A, Milo. What's going on in Serie A?
Yeah, big week in Serie A. Shock result was a second consecutive home defeat for Milan at the San Siro, going down 5-2 to Sassuolo. Yeah, it was a big shock result, really, of the weekend. Giroud had an opener ruled out. That might have changed the face of the game, maybe. But by 20 minutes, it was 2-0 Sassuolo. Giroud pulled one back with a good header for 2-1. 3-1 after half an hour, though, off of a corner. So they just went for it, man. It was crazy. The second half, it just got worse and worse for Milan. First minute of the second half, they conceded a penalty. That was 4-1. Then Milan had another goal ruled out for offside. 78 minutes in, it's 5-1. And Milan just looked like they'd given up. And then there was an 80th minute wonder goal from Origi. Too little, too late. But it was a really nice goal. It was they fit in the table, though. So these 2 home defeats haven't cost them too dearly. They're still tied with Lazio and Atalanta. But, I mean, Sassuolo are in 16th. So that was a very, very shock result of the weekend. Lazio, who are in 3rd on goal difference, they drew with Fiorentina 1-1. Juve, their troublesome January continues, losing 2-0 at home to Monza. I didn't count that one as a shock result. I just don't think it is. I mean, I know they went on that tremendous run, but now Juve are in all kinds of pain. So they did turn it up in the second. Actually, there was 3 absolutely world-class saves from the Monza goalkeeper as well that helped them get the win. If you haven't seen the highlights, I do suggest watching them because, some really, really good saves in there. Juve in 13th after the points deduction and not looking good again. Napoli do look good for the league title. They are 13 points clear. They beat Roma 2-1 at home this time. Osherman continuing his great form. Absolute stunner of a goal for him, assisted by Kvaratskhelia. And Roma really struggled to get going in classic Mourinho fashion, had 1 shot on target in the first half. They did start the second half a bit stronger, and they equalized through El Shaarawy. He's been finding the net for them a little bit this season. But 5 minutes before the whistle, Simone won all 3 points for Napoli, and they are looking good for the title. Roma in 6th. I think Napoli are about to end their drought. Also, Atalanta with a 2-0 win to stay 4th, and Inter a 2-1 away win to Cremonese keeps them in 2nd with the brace from Lautaro Martinez. But it's apart from Napoli, it's pretty tight in there for 2nd down through sort of 6th, 7th. So still pretty exciting.
Good stuff.
Did you see what Mourinho did with his squad after the game? After the Napoli match? I thought that was really weird.
They took a dressing room photo or something?
Yeah, he was like, he praised his team. He was like, we played really well. And he's like, made them like come together for like they won something. Like, okay, you can say that we played well, just wasn't quite good enough, something like that. But like, get them together like you're celebrating a loss. They weren't celebrating a loss, but that's what it looked like. It's just kind of
Spurs had got really deep into his veins,
I guess.
Apparently Zaniolo asked to leave, and the Roma Ultras are going after him, his family, all that stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. Nice continental roundup. Other things we have: Ajax are unbeaten in 8 games. That's 1 win and 7 draws for them. I believe their manager was recently sacked as well.
Yep.
PSG drew in the 96th minute after being 1-0 up. Verratti red card midway through the second half. An Arsenal boy scoring the equalizer. Flor Olarin Balogun scores the equalizing goal.
He has American ties as well, doesn't he?
He does. Maybe he'll go to Leeds.
Yeah, maybe.
PSG lead only by 3 points. Lens on 45 points and Marseille on 43. So that's pretty tight. And rumors are Skriniar will join PSG. There was talk of a 10 million or PSG trying to sign him for 10 million as he is a free agent in the summer. Inter Milan wanting 20 million now. Or in the summer for free, right? So we'll see what happens.
The Rem that tied PSG, their manager. Have you ever heard about his manager?
He's an English guy, I think.
He's English and Belgian. He's 30 years old, and he got into football from playing Football Manager. Like, no shit. This is
that's right. Yeah,
that's how he got into it. And Rem are paying a 22,000 euro fine every match because he doesn't have his badges yet.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Real quickly, other news from around the world. Salomon Rondon. I don't know why. I just love that guy. He's going to
Rondon.
He's going to.
Everyone likes him.
He's just a big. Between him and Luca Toni, I picked Rondon. For my big number 9.
It's a shame that he's not at Everton to play under Daesh.
Right. River Plate were quick on that one when they saw Dyke.
Yeah.
Dyche go to.
Sign him up.
Is it Dyke or Deitch?
Dyche.
Sean
Deitch. Okay. Other news. We had in Brazil, Atlético Paranaense. They were punished for fights in the stadium between fans. Instead of playing behind closed doors, only women and children were allowed to go to the stadium. That's about 32,000 fans, and the ticket was bringing 1 kilogram of canned food. like rice beans or also flour and things like that. And if you can watch a clip of the game, it's really neat because you don't have male voices in the stadium, and it's like this. It's just a different sound. It's like, in South Africa we had the vuvuzelas. That was its own sound, and then usually football matches are a bunch of testosterone-filled drunk people. But this was like it was interesting. It was kind of neat. A choir. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, also we don't get it. We can talk about this a little later. Cristiano Ronaldo led Al Nassr to a defeat in the Saudi Super Cup. The great Cristiano Ronaldo told his agent, also Jorge Mendes, earlier before the Al Nassr move, either you get me Chelsea or Bayern, or we break up. I hope there's a camera around for this stuff. After the Piers Morgan thing, I feel like there should be a camera everywhere around Ronaldo.
I don't.
Wait. So there's rumors now that he wants out of there.
No. This was before. This was before.
Okay.
This is just
Okay.
This is just adding to it. Oh, sorry.
When he thought he had options.
Yeah.
And the team that beat them is Al Ittihad, who won the Super Cup under the guidance of Nuno Espirito Santo.
Just
Legend.
keep sliding further into obscurity.
Manager of the month.
Yeah, I forgot. Do we have a quiz today? I don't think so.
I don't have one ready.
We have Football Manager today. It was a lot of content today. Actually, I didn't really think about it. With the transfer window. So, a lot going on this week. We can talk about a little bit of this stuff when we play some Football Manager as well. So let's do that. All right,
I'll bring you some news from Brighton if you like.
Yeah.
The news from Brighton is we've signed Marcus Leonardo from Santos, 19-year-old Brazilian centre forward.
Oh, he's
Isn't that
good.
the same guy you bought in your Arsenal save?
Maybe.
Oh, this is in the save. I thought it was
He has
IRL.
a short list.
No, this is in the save. This is all in the save. I am the Brighton manager, Sven-Goran Eriksson. Can't you tell by my forehead?
Actually, that's a good idea. Should we quickly go around everyone to update chat around what we've done in the last episode and things like that?
Yeah. We absolutely
Yeah.
should. So
Anyways, let's cut the let's cut the thing here, right?
dad joke.
Let's do the dad joke, and then okay. Well, real quick, there's a bunch of games this week. We have Coppa Italia, Inter Atalanta. We have Newcastle Southampton 1-0 up Newcastle on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, the World Club Cup kicks off. On Wednesday, we have Al Ahly versus Auckland City. The winner of that plays the Seattle Sounders. And then the winner of the Seattle Sounders, that match, plays Madrid in the semifinal. And then goes to the final. On the other side, we have Wydad from, I believe, Morocco. Plays Al Hilal. And the winner of that plays Flamengo in the semifinals. So it's Flamengo and Madrid are the favorites. Also, Wednesday, United up 3-0. We have a full lineup of Ligue 1 games on Wednesday. The German Cup is back on, the Pokal. We have Betis versus Barcelona, also on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Juve Lazio and Coppa Italia. Madrid versus Valencia as well in the league. Friday, back to the Prem, we have Chelsea Fulham, which will be great. Good game there. Saturday, Everton versus Arsenal. Everton under Sean Dyche facing Arsenal after they have just suffered the worst defeat probably of the season after United's defeat, their second defeat of the season. Will Arsenal be able to bounce back? I don't think so. I think it's over. One hand off the title. That was on it. United Palace, Wolves Liverpool, Newcastle West Ham, PSG Toulouse. Sunday, a bunch of games as well. Sevilla Barca and Spurs City being the big ones. And, of course, the Milan Derby on Sunday as well. Inter Milan versus AC Milan. That's all for me. Let's send it over to Milo the First to take us away with the dad joke.
All right, guys. This week's is a good one. Why do dogs float in water? Because they're good boys.
Oh. Wow. Wow. How do we got to, I guess, I'm just going to put this onto the stream. There we go. That'll be our cut.
Cut.
All right, guys. Chat, we're heading into Football Manager mode. Let me change the category to Football Manager.
It was, I think.
Oh, it was?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Never mind.